Hi everybody, I'm Tony Sanchez, and the book I chose to read this week was Secret World of Walter Anderson. Walter Anderson was a famous painter, and he was also a writer. He was born in New Orleans. Um, he was a man that loved nature. He um, went to school at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, and this book was written by Hester Bass, and the illustrator was E.B. Lewis. Walter was um, he was a very unique man. He had a wife and kids. His wife was Sissy, and they lived in a cottage outside of New Orleans. And in this cottage, he had a secret room. Him and his wife and kids were not allowed to go in this room. He kept it locked at all times. He was hardly ever home. He was always out checking out nature and finding things to draw. He was known for his like up close and personal things and just his unique way of getting the shots that he wanted. Like one time he drew a heron's nest. Well, he climbed the tree to and painted it up in the tree. One time he wanted to paint some bullfrogs. Well, he walked into shoulder deep water. You know, it's just the kind of stuff he does to get that perfect image that he wanted. Um, he also spent lots of time on this island. It was called Horn Island. He would go to the Horn Island for weeks at a time. This was a remote island, so nobody was there. People thought he was strange, that he wanted to be alone. He left his wife and kids for days at a time to go to this island, but that island just made him be at peace. According to him, he had lots of friends. All the animals were his friends. Mother Nature was his friends. Um, he would draw and talk to these animals every time. Sometimes he wouldn't go for a year at a time, but when he went back to that Horn Island a year later, those animals remembered him. They loved him. It was their friend. Um, this was a good book because it teaches kids that to be themselves in life. As long as you do something you'll love, you'll be happy. You can be successful, and it's also shows kids that you don't have to be a politician. You don't have to be a doctor, a lawyer or a professional athlete to be famous and to be great at something and to be well known, to everybody. Um, this guy, his paintings were just, so spectacular. To this day, he's well known. A lot of his work is copied. I had art class at the Dodge City Community College about a year ago, and it actually covered him. Didn't really cover him, but the style of painting that he did, we discussed it, and his name, got brought up, and um, it's when he died at the age of 62, November of 1965. But when he died, his wife finally opened that secret door, and when he went inside that door, so throughout his years of painting and selling masterpieces to the world, he never sold anything that he drew about Horn Island. He always kept Horn Island a secret. That was just him, him and his friends, the animals, the creatures, just just the wildlife. And um, when his wife opened that door, she was so amazed. He had all his pets and all his friends' animals from Horn Island drawn on the walls, books and books of arts, work. Everything in that room was from Horn Island. It was his most special place. It was something spectacular. I didn't hear whatever happened to all those masterpieces, but it was, she said that it was just unbelievable. He was so in depth with these animals, and they all had names. He's just an amazing artist, and I don't know if this is necessarily something that you would need to teach kids in their classroom, but it is a good story and a good book to have on hand to where kids want to read it, and you might grab it and read it to them. But it just, it's an eye opener. like I said, it teaches kids to be what they want, and it also teaches history. And biographies are my favorite books to read just because it teaches history, kind of describes what was going on at a certain time period, the things that were in. So this was an overall great book, and I enjoyed reading it. So I hope you liked my book reflection this week. So tune in for next week. Thank you.